You know when a politician promises to fix your roads? Ever wonder how that promise actually turns into fresh pavement? Well, today we're diving into the city of Chuan's government plan to see exactly how 5 different political parties are trying to connect their big ideas to the actual services you see or don't see every single day. And that brings us to a really tricky question, right? When you've got 5 different parties, all with their own agendas, their own voters, how on earth do they come together and agree on one single cohesive plan for a major city like Chuan? It's the ultimate challenge of coalition politics. So let's set the scene. Back in 2021, after the elections, no single party won an outright majority. That meant they had to team up. This led to a coalition of 5 parties. You've got the Democratic Alliance, Action SA, the Freedom Front Plus, the African Christian Democratic Party, and the Inkatha Freedom Party. Their very first job? Just figuring out how to work together. Now, if you want to build anything that's going to last, you need a solid foundation. For this coalition, that foundation wasn't made of concrete. It was a set of shared principles. These were the absolute non-negotiables, the things they all had to agree on before they could even think about a blueprint for the city. And here they are, the 5 pillars holding the whole thing up. They all agreed on being transparent and accountable, running an ethical government, basing policy on actual evidence, and promoting non-racialism. But there's one in here, meritocracy, that really jumps out, especially in South Africa's political landscape. This commitment to meritocracy is a big deal. They define it with this powerful phrase, a zero tolerance for patronage or nepotism. The goal is super simple. The best, most qualified person gets the job, period. It's a direct shot at the idea of political patronage, where positions are often handed out as a thank you for loyalty. Okay, so the foundation is laid. What's next? Well, you need a blueprint, right? An architect's plan. And for the city, that blueprint is a 10-point strategic plan. This is where those abstract principles get turned into concrete, actionable priorities. 10. That's the magic number. The coalition's entire game plan for its term in office is built around these 10 core priorities. Think of this as the master plan that's supposed to guide every decision, every budget, and every project. So this first batch of priorities, it's all about the absolute fundamentals, the bedrock of a city that actually works. We're talking about stabilizing the electrical grid and water supply, which, as you know, is a massive deal. Then, a laser focus on the city's finances, making sure every single cent delivers value. And it's all connected, right? You can't have economic growth and job creation if people can't get around on decent roads and public transport. Next up, the plan looks at how the city itself is run. This means getting tough on crime, everything from cable theft to illegal land invasions, to make communities safer. It also means making sure the city's staff is professional, and a key tool for that, the promise of yearly lifestyle audits for officials. That's where they check if an employee's fancy lifestyle actually matches their salary, which is a pretty direct way to sniff out corruption. And, of course, a big push to modernize and get more city services online. And finally, the blueprint focuses on the city's heart and soul, its people and its environment. This isn't just about pipes and budgets, it's about quality of life. We're talking about keeping the city clean, protecting green spaces, and providing a real safety net for the most vulnerable residents. And critically, it's about making sure everyone has access to basic primary health care. The goal here is a city that's not just working, but is also a healthy, supportive place to call home. Okay, so we've got the principles and we've got the 10 priorities. But the big question remains, how does a lofty strategic priority actually become a filled pothole on your street? Let's trace the path from the plan to the pavement. This chart shows us the entire assembly line. It all starts with the why. Those 5 core principles we talked about, that then informs the what, the 10 strategic priorities. From there, each priority is broken down into the how. These are specific, measurable objectives. And finally, you get the results, which are tracked to see if any of this is actually working. Let's make this crystal clear with an example. Take a big, broad priority like prioritizing infrastructure. That sounds great, but what does it mean? Well, it gets translated into a very concrete, specific objective, like reducing vulnerability to Eskom load shedding. See how that works? It takes a big idea and turns it into a targeted action that you can actually feel in your daily life. So why does all this structure, all these steps, actually matter? Well, because it's not just a plan, it's a promise. And this whole framework is designed to be a tool for accountability, a way for everyone, including you, to make sure those promises are kept. So, what this all builds up to is a system where every single thing, from those 5 big principles all the way down to the specific goals, is tracked. The city uses its performance management framework to monitor its own progress. But just as importantly, it gives residents a clear yardstick to measure if the coalition is actually delivering. It's all about turning political talk into something real and measurable.
And that leaves us with a final, really important thought. This whole detailed plan is out there. It's public. The structure for holding the government accountable exists on paper. So the real question is, how can citizens like you and me use this very blueprint to ask the right questions, to stay engaged, and to help make sure the plan on the page becomes a better reality on our streets?